Okay, let me see if we're live. Okay, looks like we are. Saying, showing up. Okay, cool. Um, yeah. Anyway, hello. I'm Volairen. Um, as you can see by my beautiful face. But anyway, this is the Volairen show. This is it's a new thing I'm doing. I just want to cause my other streams, I'm actively playing a game, and I'm kind of get to I talk a little bit, but I'm mainly like focused on the game. But here, I just want to BS. I just want to talk and whatnot. See who hops on and see if there's you know, and talk about what's been going on in my life the past. Just shooting the shit basically. That's kind of what I want this live stream to be for. Um, I probably should put something in the background. Let me see if I can. I think we can do media source and go picture. Now, I had to look at let me look at pictures. No. I need to open my phone up and get the chat out. But I wanted to show a picture of what my view looks like out my window. You seen it on the. It's actually on the thumbnail. So I'm gonna have to go into my camera. Okay, cool. Let me see here. Let's go to photos. Okay, that's not it. Ah, here it is. Okay. So we're gonna save that as um, I don't think it's the best view I've taken, but I think it'll do for now. So let's go back into here and again. Okay. Close everything. Bear with me here. I'm trying to set up the picture here. Damn, where did I put it? Well, that's annoying. Why is this thing being difficult? Give me the picture. Where is the picture? Wow, do I have to save it again? I think I do. I've got to put it somewhere specific. Let's try it again. Save as. Now, this is not there. It needs to be. I'm just going to put it on the desktop. AGC. Philippines. Okay. So We're going to save that. And now it should show up. But it does not for no reason. So, good old Windows. I mean, what the freaking... No, 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 that's not what I want. Bear with me here, guys. I don't know, maybe I should redo the stream, because this is kind of a putting a damper on things. Yeah, I don't get this computer. Why is it's not where I saved it to? I saved it to this spot and it's not showing it. So that is that's pretty irritating. I think so yeah. All right, I'm going to try this one more time. Try to save this photo again. And now it won't right click. Okay. Like, I'm having annoying computer problems. Okay, so it says it's in here, which is bullshit, because it's not. I go to look at it and it's not there. So I don't know what's going on here. No, I don't want it. Do I have to manually click this fucking thing? Or oh, it says it's in there. Why is it not showing up? Let's try random stuff. Try it one more time. Okay. Let's just cancel. Maybe I have to redo the maybe I might have to redo the stream. I don't know. Okay, so yeah, so it's not there. It doesn't show it for no fucking reason. Okay, so what? Let's go. Okay, so now it's showing up. Okay, so let's just. And it's still not doing it. Okay, I'm trying to get this thing to show up, and it's not showing up. It's being a prick. I don't know why. No. All right, screw it. Screw it. I'm done. I'm done trying to get it to work. Let me see if I've got. Okay, hey Fenru, how's it going? I just looked at the chat here. How you doing, man? So anyway, I tried to show you guys a picture of the view here in the city where I live, and it's just not working. It's being, I don't know, it's just Windows problems, just being Windows. And but I did find the file. I put it on my OBS on the media source, and it just doesn't show anything for no reason. So, like, you know, it's not. Hold on a second. Let me see. Man, I can't get it out of my head. Like, this this should work, but it doesn't. So anyway, so I'll just talk in general about my experience here. So I flew in last month on the 17th, and I had no idea what I was in for. I had no idea what to expect or anything. I did my absolute best to just curb my expectations and just put them away and compartmentalize them and just ignore them and just see what happens. And so the flight took about 25 hours. I flew from Indianapolis to San Francisco. I flew from San Francisco to Korea in Seoul. And then from there, I ran into my first problem, which was I had to board a different airline that my ticket never told me about. But apparently there in the Korean airport, at least where I was at, you can't you can't go with an American airline. You have to transfer to what's called Jeju Air. I think I'm pronouncing it right. It's spelled J-E-G or J-U Airlines. And you've got to book with them, and they check your passport, and they give you a new ticket. So they gave me a new ticket, and then I got on a plane to the Philippines, here in the Philippines. And so then from Seoul, Korea, I flew to Manila. So that's how that happened. And so when I landed in the Philippines, my next big hurdle was immigration, which they have all these different booths in the airport. You go down if you're an expat and you've never been to the Philippines before in your life, which I had never been, this is my first time ever. You got to go to I think it's foreigner passport line, but you definitely don't go into the local line, and you don't go to immigration. You just go through that line, and they have all these immigration booths at the end of that line. And so I walked up to that line. They called me forward. I gave them my passport, and they asked me, when I was planning on leaving. I gave them a date. They didn't seem too concerned with it, and then and then they stamped it and let me on my way. That stamp they gave me is good until I think the 17th of this month in August. So what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to, apply for a new visa, I extend my tourist visa. So that's how I got in. And I was, I'm kind of paranoid by nature. It's not my best character trait, but so I was fighting all these fears and thoughts oh man, they're going to turn me back or whatever. There's going to be some other BS reason that I can't enter or whatever, and I just, I stuffed them down and it worked out. So I went, as soon as I exited the booth, I look out and there are tons of people just lined up behind these barriers with signs and everything, as you would imagine, for foreigners, people getting picked up from the airport. And, and so this is where the relocation program for me with the Savvy Expat began. And one of his employees picked me up at that airport. I didn't have to book a Grab. I didn't have to get a taxi, which was very nice, because at this point in time, I'm stepping out of that booth and I'm like, what the hell do I do? I have no clue what to do. And it dawns on me that I'm in another country. This is total uncharted territory, and I have no idea what I'm doing. And so it was really nice to have that person there step in and say, okay, take me and go, okay, let's get you some money. So they took me to the ATM. I got my first Philippines pesos. I withdrew about 10,000. Honestly, so far, 10,000 pesos will get you good here for a little bit. It'll pay for your Grab. It'll get you good ways. It'll pay for groceries. It took about at least 5 days before I ran out of that initial amount of money. So that's what it was like for me there. And so they took me out of the airport and they drove me to BGC in Bellagio Tower 3. I don't know if any of you know where that is, but it was, excuse me, it was definitely something else. I came there in the middle of the night. It was dark. I couldn't see any scenery or anything. It was just like, and they had to get me, signed in and everything. I met the owner of the Airbnb. Actually, it was his girlfriend that greeted me, and she's a Filipina, and she told me, and I realized, she let me know that, hey, I'm staying in this other room here, which is a part of the actual condo. So there's 2 rooms in the condo. I was staying. I was going to be staying in one, and she was going to be staying in the other. Well, I didn't know this until this moment, until that moment, when I arrived. So I had new fears come up. I was like, man, is she going to rob me? Like, I heard all the stories about the Philippines, right? And everything, like, people trying to take your stuff and whatnot, and just, being, and theft being a real problem, and other, other horror stories and stuff. We've all heard the horror stories, right? So I was a little apprehensive. I was like, man, but I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm here. There's nothing I can do about this. We'll just see how it plays out. So, the first night I was pretty paranoid. I was like, it's fear of the unknown. That's all it really is. Whenever you go to a place that you've never been before, or done something that you've never done before, you're gonna have fear. It is inevitable. It's just walking through that fear is what matters. So after my first night, I woke up in the morning, and I think that's when it really hit me that, wow, I'm here. And the place looked all right. It didn't look as nice as I had pictured in my head, but it was still really nice. And then when I woke up in the morning and I looked up, and my curtains were pulled back. I hadn't closed them. They were pulled back, and you guys may have seen the short that I posted, and that's exactly what I woke up to. And I saw that. I was like, dude, I gotta post this to my channel. This is too good. And so I took a short, and it was like, man, I'm really here. And I got to see everything and see the city. And it was just like, it hit me like a ton of bricks. So that was really cool. And this person that I'm gonna leave her name out, but she turned out to be really cool, very trustworthy, very nice. And the best part was, when it came to like dating and getting into that scene, she gave me a lot of useful tips and information, and gave me her perspective as a Filipina, and was, very, very friendly and very supportive, and like, it was like I had a trustworthy roommate that I never even expected I was going to have. So I kind of got lucky. Honestly, I expected when I walked in that Airbnb to be alone, right? To just, start off alone, and it didn't work out that way. I ended up, talking to her every day, and nothing, and just to be clear, nothing happened between us. That I just want to make that clear. it was strictly platonic, and I made sure to keep it that way. She, she wasn't, she wasn't bad looking, and um, so, but she was very nice, and she, she took care of me. She, showed me where the water was, and we had, and in the Philippines here, thing with the water. So basically, you're not drinking the tap water. Just get that out of your head. If you're a person that drinks tap water, like, do not do that. You do not want to do that in the Philippines. Everything is bottled or processed. Through like through certain water companies, treatment companies that provide you with drinking water. So the drinking water is always separate from the tap water. The tap water is not. Now I'm sure the locals they drink it just fine, but like if you're a foreigner like me, like our my body is not, I didn't grow up drinking this water, so like it's. But anyway, yeah. Long story short, you gotta have bottled water or some equivalent. You gotta have the water you drink needs to be treated. So, yeah, there were these big jugs, and I would get water out of the jugs, and it had a kitchen, and so. Let me tell you about the bathroom situation, because you may have heard that the bathrooms in the Philippines are a little different than they are in the West. And so I was prepared for this. So I had my own toilet paper, but fortunately, and this includes this Airbnb that I'm in right now, that also, they had a supply of toilet paper ready to go. So you could tell that these people, including this person that I stayed with, they knew, they've served quite a bit of expats. They have experience with expats, so that was nice to know that I didn't have to get out that roll of toilet paper that I had packed. I could just leave it in there. So now the really cool thing about the location that I went to, which is Bellagio Tower 3, I'm sure some of you may have heard of it. Basically, when you walk out of that tower, if you turn right out of the parking lot, right out of the parking garage, you walk right into a grocery store, a good one too. And I went to that grocery store, and they had steaks ready to go. Like, so as a carnivore, that was amazing. Just being able to walk there, get it, and come back. Yeah, we usually don't drink tap water. You can, but you need to boil it first or something similar. Yeah, exactly what Fenru says in chat. By the way, hope he doesn't mind me saying, but Fenru is in this. You said you're in Indonesia. I think you said you're in Indonesia, but it's like, same geographic area roughly as the Philippines. Yeah, and so yeah, you don't want to drink tap water here. It's dangerous. So you want to be careful when you're showering stuff too, not to drink it. So and so far, now this is the really good news, and then I'm going to get back to what I was talking about. I have not gotten sick yet. Now I feel extremely lucky, but it's been more than a couple weeks. I have not gotten sick at all, not once. I came close yesterday. I had kind of a sick feeling in my stomach yesterday, but then it went away. That was after I had eaten some raw hamburger by accident. But I am aware that I am extremely lucky for not having gotten sick yet, but also not having got sick after that. So it is possible to come here and not immediately get sick. By the way, we're going to get ads in about 30 seconds. So yeah, just I'll do a brief break when that happens. But yeah, like, so back to the grocery store. everything was in pesos, obviously. So like, I didn't know exactly what the dollar amounts were. So I just said, whatever, don't matter. I grabbed, they had New York steak. So I grabbed that. Well, okay, so we're going to take a break real quick for the ads. Okay, we'll go ahead and I'm assuming that the ads are done. Not sure if they are or not, but we're gonna keep going. So yeah, so I bought it, and now for the first several days I paid cash for my I paid cash for my food at that grocery store. You know, I paid the cash I had on me, but now, and I know some people are going to say you shouldn't do that or whatever, but I quickly realized that because I have a Charles Schwab card, so and I basically can use my Charles Schwab card to pay for the groceries with their card scanner. So I did that, and it worked just fine. I know that's a little risky, but like it's not like I'm in the province or something with a really, you know, some shady gas station or something that I'm doing that with. I'm not, you know, I think I'll be okay with, you know, that this is a, I mean, this is like a fancy marketplace in the middle of BGC. You know, at the end I don't know for sure if I need to be worried, but I don't think I do. Like I think it'll be fine. But you know, obviously if I go outside of BGC, I'm going to be more careful. You know, and take more precautions, but you know, I decided to try it, and yeah, so far so good. I do have other sources of money in case, you know, that card gets compromised in some way, but I have multiple bank accounts, and so yeah, I mean, I prepared for this for a long time, for almost a year. So not almost a year, but like 6 months. But anyway, so I figured out how to get groceries. Groceries are really easy, at least where I was at. So the food was clean, the store was clean. That's the other thing. The city itself, I walked around the city for like an hour, and I didn't know what to expect when I first walked out of that tower. I was like, man, am I gonna get begged for money? Am I gonna get robbed? You know, all these different fears and stuff. It was really just, but I strangely felt alive in that moment. I was like, you know, I'm gonna do what I've always done all my life. I'm just gonna go out there. You know, I'm gonna ads again? Seriously? Nah, you know what? No, screw that. We're gonna skip ads. You guys don't need it's been like 2 minutes. You don't need ads again. Come on. So yeah, we're not doing that. Anyway, so I skipped the ads, so you don't have to worry about that, hopefully. You know, but yeah, I mean, it was a trip walking out of that tower, and I looked around. It was like the streets are clean, and nobody noticed me. Nobody looked at me. Nothing. I walked. I was just another expat in BGC. It was really, yeah, it was almost anticlimactic. But I walked around and it was just like, man, like it didn't quite feel like an alien world, but like the cities in America have gotten so different from what I had grown up with in the United States that to then step out and see BGC was like, it was like night and day. It was like it almost was a different world. It's like this is the city as I've always wanted it to be. Like this is the city as it should be. You know, this is what a real city, like ideally, I'm talking ideally, should look like. Okay, they're gonna run ads again. I give up. I skipped the first one, but I guess we'll play it again. Yeah, so that's really weird that they're doing it so close together like that. Hopefully that doesn't continue throughout the whole stream. But anyway, here are the ads. I'm gonna get a drink of water. I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back. Anyway, hope the ads weren't too painful, but hey, it does help pay the bills. So thank you for watching the ad. If you didn't skip it, I appreciate it. If you did skip it, it's cool. I know the ads on YouTube, especially some of them, are very annoying. I get that, but thanks to any who watched it, you know, for helping me pay the bills anyway. So, yeah, and thanks to all of you for watching the ads. I do appreciate it when you watch an ad for me. That's really cool. So yeah, I guess we're talking on the topic of ad revenue. You know, I don't know if I've ever told you guys how much I actually am making now, but I can tell you here, I make about $150 every 2 months. It's not a lot. It's not a lot, but it's enough to matter, at least somewhat. You know, it pays a couple of the bills. So that is really nice. Hopefully we can get that revenue up more. Obviously, that'd be really nice too. That's one of my goals. After, you know, after I get situated here. So, and by the way, on that, and I'll talk about this later, I did just secure an apartment. We're going on Monday. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to sign a contract and everything. What's really awesome, this just happened, so it's really awesome. I was able to get a deal without post-dated checks, which is absolutely cool. So I'm going to be able to move into this place. I'm just going to, you know, pay the 4 months up front, and then after that, you know, I just, you know, there's no post-dated checks involved at all. So that was amazing news yesterday. Really thankful and grateful for that. But anyway, so back to my story. I walked out of that tower and was just, you know, this is what I think of when I picture a city in my head, you know, like compared to what I had to be in for like the past 7 years before this. So, but yeah, BGC, really cool. And another thing I noticed right away was there are security guards everywhere. And let me tell you, that is such a refreshing change compared to basically living in an area where I could easily go for about 3 months without seeing a police officer or seeing a cop car, you know, in a place ridden with crime, you know, that, you know, enough said. Like that was really nice. And I think, honestly, not to step on anyone's toes, but, you know, if you got a problem with authority, I mean, dude, like, just imagine a world where there was no law and order. Like, you don't, trust me, you think you want to be in that world, you don't want to be in that world. I've seen that world. It is not cool. Anybody that tells you, anybody that's actually been in a lawless country, in a lawless environment, will tell you that it's not cool. I have not seen one person yet that's like, oh yeah, there's no law and order, it was great. I've never heard that. I've never heard that. Like, seriously. Like, it's not fun being in a place where, like, when you walk outside, you're concerned. And I'm a big guy. I'm 6 foot, okay? I weigh more than 200 pounds as of right now. And where I used to live, the quote unquote city I used to live, it was so crazy that I felt unsafe. I felt unsafe going outside. You know, I didn't want to go outside. I didn't want to go run. I didn't want to go sprint. I didn't want to do any exercise other than what I could do at my house. And I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to get in my car, and I didn't want to go drive anywhere because the roads were so dangerous, and the people around me that I was living near and in the neighborhoods and stuff and on the sidewalks and things, they looked so dangerous that it's like, dude, like, I don't know if this guy's gonna rob me or whatever. Like, it was bad. It was bad. But to go from that, you know, not wanting to step outside your house for fear of getting robbed or stabbed or whatever, or like, you know, hurt, you know, it, and being around, you know, basically, you know, substance abuse and crime, you know, people around you, living around you doing that, to like coming here to BGC where it's like, wow, there's none of that here, like, that I can see, you know, and having security everywhere is just, I felt so safe for the first time in a long time. Like, I was like, wow, this is, you can't really put a price on this. It's like, and, you know, and the, all the, and I can't speak for everybody, but at least for me, all the security was super nice to me. Like, you know, super friendly. Everybody there is like super friendly. The security, you know, most of the security, I can't even think of one that had a grumpy look on their face. Like, you know, they were all cool as hell. Super chill around here. Like, that's something I'm drawn to, you know, and I walked around, I noticed all this, and you know, and then the streets, there's no trash on the ground, you know, there's no trash on the ground, there's nothing, there's no disorder or chaos of any kind. It's like, you know, even the traffic, I looked at the traffic, there's cars driving all over the place and stuff like that, but even the traffic had some sense of order to it. It's strange. Like, you know, they talk about how bad the traffic is in the Philippines. Yeah, I agree to an extent, but like, if you saw what I saw where I used to live in the United States compared to the traffic here, it really seems benign to me here. You know, I didn't see any road rage. I didn't see, like, I saw honking, but like, it was more of a communication honk instead of a screw you honk, you know, like like where I used to be in the States, which was Las Vegas, by the way. Anybody who's ever driven in Las Vegas will know what I'm talking about. It is utter chaos in Las Vegas. Like, even with the traffic rules, like, you never know what's going to happen when you go out there. Like, you don't know. Like, basically, when I drove around in Las Vegas, it was like every time I went out there, I would nearly get into an accident with somebody because they were doing something really stupid, like they were driving over the white line, or they were exiting three lanes over, swinging over 3 lanes right in front of me, or doing something like that, or driving 90 miles an hour or whatever. I didn't see any of that. I haven't seen any of that here. I haven't seen any of that crazy shit here. It's, you know, I mean, everyone's just kind of like, they wait for each other, they give each other space. It's weird, but like, and yeah, there's, you know, they do whatever, but they do it in a considerate kind of way. It's hard to explain, but it's way different. The attitude, the attitude is way different. Riding around here than it is, in my country, at least. Now Indiana wasn't so bad, but even in Indiana, like, you had people doing idiotic things, like, not going to go into details, but like, dangerous stuff. And like, it's crazy, but the driving here, I can only speak for BGC, and I've heard that BGC is a little more orderly than the rest of Manila, and then the wider Philippines. I get that, but like, if this is any kind of a litmus test, like an example of, honestly, like I said, even though there wasn't a lot of order to the traffic, like, they all were like considerate of each other. Like I said, hard to explain. Here comes another ad, by the way. But it was really just refreshing to see that. And like, I know this is kind of somebody, people may come at me and say this is really stupid of me, but there's been a couple times where, and it was because I couldn't figure out how to buckle the seatbelt in. I just let it go and nothing happened. Like, and they don't drive. Nobody here drives that fast. I have not seen one person drive recklessly, like really fast. Part of the reason for that is because there is so much traffic here that if anybody with a brain knows that if they do that here, they will get into a wreck and they will have a very bad day. So you can't really speed here, at least in BGC, really, without some really bad consequences, unlike in America, where it seems like, every other person is driving 20 miles over the speed limit. So, I mean, I don't even know if they have speed limits here, but like I said, like, I felt, despite the chaos, I felt much safer riding passenger here and what I could see, and then also being a pedestrian too. Like, being a pedestrian is kind of weird here too, because when you walk, you cross the street, people will still go, but like, they'll stop for you. Like, most of the people in the cars are paying attention. Like, so you can walk out in front of somebody and they will just stop. They won't honk. It's kind of an expected normal thing here, which trips me out, because as somebody from America, I'm like, dude, you do not walk out in front of cars. Like, that's what's told from very early age. But here, you kind of have to do that because everybody just keeps going, and they just slow down and stop when there's something in front of them or whatever. But it's like, because they expect you to go out in front of them, they're not surprised, and they don't react harshly and don't get upset about having to stop because it's just the way how you do things here. So um so yeah, even though there isn't a lot of technically a lot of law and order to the driving here, it was surprisingly refreshingly orderly, considering, everybody was just doing their jobs. They're not drinking, they're not like doing crazy stuff, they're not like under the influence. They're just, unlike the US, they're just like, they're just trying to get to work, or they're trying to get to work, or they're trying to pick up their friends, or they're driving other people around. They're just busy, um and that's kind of, so I don't know where I was going on with this, but yeah, the driving, the traffic has surprised me so far. um you know and so yeah, that was another thing. And walking around, um I saw some cool stuff, like for example, there's a Texas Roadhouse here. That it was pretty cool to see, but I heard Texas Roadhouse here actually is more expensive than the US, which, if true, is a real bummer. But yeah, so anyway, yeah, and I just walked around and absorbed the city and went back to my tower. And so uh I did yeah, I'm trying to do this in chronological order. It's kind of hard though. Um so then I started viewing condos to look at, and the first ones I saw um were really small. They were very extremely small, and to the point to where I looked around, took one look at it, I was like, I looked back at them, I'm like, sorry, this is not going to work. You're going to need to show me new apartments, because this is just this is way too small for me. um like, in America, the most living spaces, at least outside of places like New York City, are actually pretty spacious. Like the apartment I left, even though the quality wasn't very good, I still had quite a bit of space in that apartment. So it was kind of a shock to. I was one of the expectations, the uncontrollable expectations that I had coming here, was that the the quality and the size of I was going to get someplace really cool, right? Well, it hasn't exactly worked out that way. Um, so and these and so in now, this is BGC though, so that's the other thing I want to clarify here. This is BGC. You could probably get another ad, by the way, soon. You could probably get, for the same money that you would pay for the shoe boxes that I just saw, you could probably take that money and go to the province and get a place that's much bigger. But then you'd be in the province. So, if you don't want that, that's a thing. So, but I was hoping that I wasn't expecting the apartments to be so small. But we did another viewing, and they showed me bigger apartments. And so during this time, I I might get into that later. We'll talk, maybe talk about it later. But anyway, so I was able to. I went for a second viewing, and I said, you know what? Let's crank up the budget. Let's see what we can find for this amount. For, I'll just say about 1,500, right? So the shoe boxes that I saw. Hold on a second. I think that's my laundry. One sec. I'll be right back. Okay, where was I? Had to. So a lot of the washer dryer units here in the Philippines, they're 2-in-1s where they're both a washer and a dryer. It's kind of weird. I don't know if it's a new thing, but I got one, and so I have to like. But it's kind of nice not have to like take it out of the washer and put it in the dryer separately. But anyway, by the way, I looked in my washer, and my socks are blue, so I'm probably gonna have to get new socks, unfortunately. Um, you know, I'm a guy. I suck at washing clothes, but whatever. I'll figure it out again. I mean, that's actually the first time that's happened to me in a while. Like I usually when I wash clothes that doesn't happen. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. So so I crank up the budget a little bit, and unfortunately at this time when I did that, I didn't realize that I was going to have to pay 4 times the rent. So yeah, I didn't feel like it was explained clear off to me, but until it was kind of too late, and I looked at my accounts, I was like, I don't have enough money for this. Like I just barely didn't. But like actually, and I actually could have. Actually, the truth is I could have, but it would have left me so vulnerable financially that I'm like, I can't really afford to take that risk. So I got back with Evan. I was like, hey man, I was like, let's do let's put the budget down to 1,000 and see what happens. And so they showed me some more apartments, and at first it wasn't looking very good. I was not really impressed with the quality of the apartments that was being shown. But they did have 2 bedrooms. So but I was like, you know what? Let's just keep looking. I booked another Airbnb, which cost about $300. Now, here's the cool thing. For those expats that aren't just rolling in dough, okay? I'm not rolling in dough, but I have enough money to live comfortably. But like, I had just got done paying off my car, so like, it was just bad timing. But anyway, more about that later. But if you're thinking about becoming an expat and you don't have a lot of money stored, like, you could come here, and as long as your income is more than like, 2,000 a month, you could just come here to BGC and live off Airbnbs and, be net positive every month. So you could come here, and that's almost what I decided to do. Well, you could just come here and be like, okay, well, I'm just going to live off of, I'm going to pay, $900, $1,200 a month for an Airbnb until I find a place to live. That is definitely an option. Which is so. But unfortunately, I'm not going to have to do that, because the next viewing, that's when I found the place that I'm ready, that I want to move in with. And it was a really cool story, actually. So I got an Airbnb on the 31st, and it's where I'm at right now here. And this is at the Verb, and it and I was since I've been staying here, I'm like, well, this place is pretty cool. I could probably live here. I could live in this building. These are pretty high quality. And so, my mind opened a little bit more, and I thought about it. I was like, it'd be really cool if they showed me some apartments here. Well, the next day I went for a viewing, and the apartments that they showed me were in this building and another building that looked and functioned almost exactly like this building. So I was like, that is really cool. And so I ended up being interested in one of these condos from the Meridian. This guy who I think is the owner, you know, he gave me lots of good tips about living here, like about ordering steak and whatnot, and other useful things that I can't remember right at the moment. But he seemed very knowledgeable, and it had been very clear from the beginning. I could tell that he had worked with expats before, and so that kind of tipped the scales for me. I'm like, you know, it'd be really nice to have a landlord that's used to expats and knows how to work with them. I think that's actually has a lot of value. So hence probably the reason why he didn't ask for post-dated checks, because most expats don't want to do that, and I'm included in that. I was prepared to do it, but knowing that I don't have to do that is very cool. So, you know, so the rents for me, it's about $1,000 a month, USD, and it's going to cost me about $4,000 to secure it, which I'm going to be doing that on Monday. So that's an update on my progress so far with the rent situation. So yeah, again, I know that a couple videos have come out recently that shared, you know, that mentioned this, but I'm gonna mention here too. Yeah, like the 4 times, like they call it 2 months upfront plus 2 months security deposit. What they're really saying is 4 months of rent in advance. So if you're not ready to handle that, if you're not prepared for that, don't come here. At least not to BGC, because you're not really gonna. It's going to be very difficult to find a place that doesn't have that going on. It's just very common here. So yeah, so find out what your budget is, like how much do you want to pay for a place per month, and then multiply that by 4, and that's basically how much money minimum you are going to need to move in here. So yeah, so either wait, you know, till you have the funds to fly here, or fly here, and if you've got the income already, fly here, and then, you know, just rent Airbnbs until you can afford, you know, that 4 months rent payment. So yeah, but then anyway, that's my little bit of advice there. But yeah, so far things are working out. It's been really cool, but also been very challenging. So, and I said this in a video that I'm going to drop soon. I'll explain this more, but like, here, if I were to make a do's and don'ts video right now about coming here, I will tell you right now, the number one don't I have that I regret right now for not doing it is getting in shape before I got here. That is, yeah, that was the biggest L I have taken so far. It's just, now you can see, I think you noticed that I've lost some weight since my, you know, over my last streams and whatnot. But it is, man, it's running ads like crazy. I don't get it. Whatever. I mean, I wonder if I can go into the settings. I'll think about that for the next show. But anyway, yeah. So honestly, being in shape is a huge advantage here, because especially in BGC, because you're going to be walking around a lot. You're going to be up and about, you're not going to want to just lay on your bed and watch YouTube videos. That's not, you know, you're not going to feel good about that. And so, yeah, and then there's dating, and obviously the better you look when it comes to dating, the more success you're going to have. So if you can get into shape before you come down here, like, do it. Absolutely do it. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to, um, for many reasons. Uh, but yeah, and being on a another thing, other piece of advice I want to give, if you are suffering from a any kind of food addiction or eating disorder, I would seriously consider getting that handled before you come down here. Now, I was able to do that actually. I was able to stop eating crap and start eating carnivore, and that helped. That basically solved my eating problems. But if you have eating problems, let me tell you, there is so much temptation down here. Like, it is ridiculous. Food is huge here. There are restaurants everywhere. They're cheap. You're practically getting cheap through food thrown at you, and especially if you're socializing and whatnot, seeing a lot of people, they're going to want to go out to dinner or whatever. They're going to want to go to this restaurant or that restaurant. So, like, and also, you can use Grab to get food, just like Uber Eats. It's the same thing here. It's just as easy. It's easier, actually, cheaper. Imagine if McDonald's on Uber Eats was only $3. That's what it's like here. So yeah, if you've got an eating problem, you better have that handled, or you're gonna come down here and gain 300 pounds. I'm telling you, like, it's yeah. And if you don't want that, then yeah, I make sure you have a solid meal plan of some kind, diet, lifestyle, whatever. For me, I went carnivore. I totally endorse it. Being carnivore has helped me a lot. It's helped me get off my meds, or most of my meds. It's helped me get off my supplements, and I feel better than I ever have. But I'm still out of shape, whatnot. But I have been able to get around more. But when I first got here, everything hurt. Everything was sore. I just was not used to it. I barely walked around or did anything active before I got here. So yeah, you wanna train before you come here. Like, it is like, get on a treadmill or something. Just start lifting weights. Highly recommend it. It's definitely a don't to come here out of shape. You're just cheating yourself, really are, because there's so many cool things to do here. There's so many cool places to see and experience this stuff, and then there's the dating, and obviously that everybody talks about, and just that all of that stuff is way harder when you don't have a physique, when you don't have, when you're not, when you got a lot of extra pounds on you. It's just anyway, that's all I got about that. But yeah, but on that, things are looking good there. I'm noticing I've been losing more weight. It's been easier to get around. I've been getting complimented, so that's a good sign that I'm on the right track. And also, for you carnivores, yeah, I don't know about some carnivores can get away with it, but I can't eat dairy. Like, that's actually where a lot of my weight gain came from. When I initially went carnivore, I actually gained weight. I gained like 10 or 15 pounds because I went straight to dairy, and it basically was not able to get the weight off until I gave up dairy and eggs. I don't know what it is about eggs for me, but it's just yeah, they make me feel sluggish and slow. And everyone's a little different. Every carnivore is a little different. So there's some carnivores, they do just fine with dairy, and that's great. They do just fine with eggs, and that's great. In fact, a lot of them do fine with eggs, but I didn't. I've been having to just eat steaks only, pretty much at this point. I'm eating meat. That's it. I don't eat anything else. I don't eat seasonings or anything. So yeah. So the other thing too about carnivore that I don't. Now, I've been carnivore for about 3 months, for at least 3 months, and I want to say that I did not. The fat did not melt off my body. Okay, that has not been my experience, which is very disappointing. I've got to say, doesn't mean that carnivore doesn't work. It's just for me, it's working differently than a lot of the people on YouTube that try carnivore and they get miraculous results right away. I got results, but they were not weight-based results. They were up here. Like my mental health has dramatically increased since I started doing carnivore these past 3 months. I've been able to get off my psychiatric medication, and I've never felt calmer. It's not something I'm especially comfortable talking about, but like, and also, disclaimer, absolutely talk to your doctor. Do not hear what I say here and go, oh, well, I'll get off do not get off your psych meds unless you talk to a doctor. Don't do that. Now, I took a big risk and I did it without talking to my doctor. That's because I didn't have a doctor to talk to. But if you're on psych meds, see a professional before you decide to get off of them. Yeah, I'm not responsible for anybody that just, I'm not telling anybody that they should just go cold turkey from their meds without consulting anybody. I absolutely do not want to be responsible for that. So, yeah, I am not telling anybody to do that. I'm making that very clear. So, I don't want to get in trouble. But yeah, I did get off my meds, and I didn't go absolutely nuts. In fact, giving up carbs as somebody with mental health issues, I was able to handle a lot of things that I haven't talked about yet, that I may not be able to talk about, that happened. I was able to deal with them a lot better than I would have had I been eating carbs but also medicated. I was able to deal with them better. Things that I know would have upset me a lot more, but they just didn't upset me that much, and I was able to push through them and stay calm at the same time. So that's kind of the emotional and mental freedom I have today because of carnivore, and so I really am liking that. But I'm really hoping that I can be like those other people that they try carnivore and they get a 6-pack in 2 months. Unfortunately, that was not me, but hopefully in a few months that will be me. Would really like that. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, it's the results with carnivore really depends on the person, but it's not and it's not absolutely guaranteed. It also depends on the other, what you're actually eating. But anyway, so anyway, that's what's been going on. I want to share a couple other cool things that's been happening. So I got on the I was at my computer earlier today, and I got a Discord call from my niece. Not going to say her name, but actually, I think her name's Northclaw. I think that's, I'd have to look at it again, but anyway, she's my niece, and we're gonna do. And I hadn't heard from her in a while, so it was really good to hear from her again. Let her know that I was safe and okay. But she's actually wants to ask me if I want to do a collab with Minecraft, and I was gonna think about doing that. But yeah, which leads me to, so hopefully I'm gonna get this place by the 7th of August, and it's already got a good computer desk that I can use, and I will I'm gonna get a gaming chair, and then I'm gonna try to get another monitor and get my studio set up there as soon as possible, so I could be a lot more involved in YouTube by the end of the month, depending on how things go. The internet here. Let me talk about the internet here. Now, this internet connection, I'm really surprised I was able to do this stream just now and have it be stable this whole time, because this internet connection has, at least on my phone, has caused me tons of problems. I basically shut it off on my phone. I don't know why it works for my computer and not for my phone, but whatever. But at least at the Bellagio, you saw me stream at the Bellagio. That the internet here is called the big provider here is called Globe, and I've heard really good things about them. And apparently, where I'm going to be staying is right next to one of the towers. So hopefully, and where the condo I'm picking was actually recently occupied by another streamer. So I'm pretty confident that the internet is going to be really good, which I'm really glad for, because I wasn't sure when I came down here if I was what kind of service I was going to have. So really hopeful today about the future. Wasn't so sure there for a few days there. But anyway, my niece wants to collab with me, and I'm thinking that's probably one of the first things I'm gonna try to do when I get set up. So another thing, I'd like to work on some Stellaris videos, and there's another cool thing about living here that I'm gonna look into, and that is getting an assistant for my YouTube videos to edit my videos, and possibly hang out with me in the city and help me make videos in the city. I think would be really cool too. So yeah, I will be looking into that. Anyway, well, it's been about an hour and 14 minutes. I've rambled for quite a bit here, trying to get my experience out. But yeah, so I just want to let you know that that's where I'm at. So yeah, I have found a place to live, and my studio, hopefully my goal is to get my studio set up by the end of the month. And I definitely want to come out with another Stellaris video in the next 2 months. That is on the agenda. Now that I've arrived here, I've made it here, and I've got a place here. Now I can get back to my channel, and so my life from now on, my plan anyway, is to just hit the gym, hit my channel, hit the gym, hit my channel. Everything else is just icing on the cake. That's what I want to do. So yeah, so I'm going to be doing all kinds of stuff for this channel. I've like stuff like this, filming out in the city, making Stellaris videos, making other gaming videos, just growing my channel, coming out with lots and lots of content. my goal is to try to come out with a piece of content every single day, one or more. And if I can get an assistant, that'll definitely be closer to being a reality. But anyway, I think I've talked long enough. I just want to share with you guys how I'm doing. Hopefully next stream we'll have some more people commenting and engaging and stuff. But anyway, I just wanted to tell you guys how I'm doing. I think maybe I'll write up a script for the next show, and at least of what I want to talk about and some different topics that we can cover. But yeah, anyway, I will see you guys soon, and I'll see you next time.